welcome back to another episode of the Sum Up. My name is Drew, and this is
Chrissy.
And we're here.
What?
And welcome back to another episode of the Sum Up. Woo woo. My name is Andrew, and this is
Chrissy.
And we're here to recap what's been happening in music and hip hop recently. Let's dive into it. Let's get it.
Alright, so let's kick it off with some notable releases. I'm gonna jump right into it. So, I didn't give it, listen, we talked about the song Crummy, Yummy, Bummy, whatever on here.
Slummy.
By Justin Bieber, and we weren't feeling it. Though I know I wasn't.
No, I wouldn't either.
But Justin Bieber has given us good projects in the past, so I said I need to listen to this to have a complete opinion. So I listened to his album that recently dropped, Changes, and it was underwhelming. It wasn't a bad album. It wasn't bad at all. You know, he had a bit of the R&B flair, the R&Bieber. I wouldn't call it R&B, but it was definitely lower tempo music, low to mid tempo. Just for me, we haven't heard from Justin Bieber in 5 years since Purpose, which was a great album. I expected more from him. He's been through a lot in the last 5 years, from personal situations to his career. I expected this project to be a little bit more than surface level, which it felt like it was. He didn't get into like more personal things until midway through the project with the song called Changes, and that's when we started to see him delve into it. I didn't expect it to be a whole introspective project, but I just expected it to be a little bit more in depth than it was. The singing was good, the production was, there, and it was just an okay project. I don't think it was memorable. I don't think it's something that we'll be talking about at the end of the year, or even at the end of the month. I don't. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but I expected more from him because he had Journals, Purpose. Those were great projects. Like
amazing projects.
So it's
Purpose really got me into Justin.
So it's just like, it just felt like he was maybe trying to fulfill contract obligations. It didn't feel like he was really there for the project. It just felt like he was doing what he needed to do on it. So
wow,
I mean, it was all right.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I'm just I'm a little, I feel you, but do you think, let's try to talk about why a little bit, because obviously I get where you're coming from, you know what I'm saying? Long hiatus from music. Justin Bieber, one of the biggest names in music ever, as we already know, has come to bless us with another project. So do you think that do you think he had his heart in it? Or because you say it sounds like something that he just had to do.
Yeah.
Get out there.
It just sounded, like I said, it sounded very surface level. It wasn't until we got to towards the latter part of the project where he really started to kind of dig in with, like I said, he had a song called, the title track, Changes, a song called Confirmation. And that's not to say the songs before that weren't good, because yeah, they were okay, but it just didn't have much replay value for me. And maybe I had expectations, so that plays into it. There were a few notable songs on here. I really like the song called Available. For me, the best song on the project, and I really do love this song. His song with Kalani called Get Me. Great song. And Kalani is somebody that, I'm not gonna lie, I slept on her for a while, and I've recently got really given her a chance in the last few years, and I'm glad I did because she's fire. So that was the most standout song on the project to me. But yeah, that's really what I think. I think that I could be wrong, but he signed to Def Jam, so he could be nearing the end of what his contract is with them as far as album obligations, and just putting out something. Not to say he didn't put any effort into it, it just didn't feel like his heart was in this project.
Understood. I'm glad we kind of shed a little bit more light on how you felt about the project.
Yeah.
Either way, Justin Bieber Changes. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about A Boogie. Artist 2.0 album just dropped. Honestly, I have got to say, I feel like he did his thing on this.
Okay.
Now, this is an album that kind of jumps back into the path of his artists, bigger artists, international artists,
Yeah.
the sequence of projects that he's been dropping. And it's obviously there was a departure with the last project he dropped, Hoodie Season,
Yes.
which was a little bit more rap heavy. So A Boogie kind of jumps right back into more of, I guess, where he came from when it comes to music, more of the singing side.
Yeah, definitely melodic.
Definitely melodic. Now the cool thing is that the original artist that dropped, I think in 2017 or 16, had a heavy piano focus.
Yes.
And this one has a heavy guitar focus.
Okay.
So I thought
that was intentional?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
intentional. And I thought it was done with a lot of taste. It was done very well. Many of the songs were just engineered to the T. I was listening through, and I'm a very I need albums. I feel like I mentioned this before, but I need albums to start the right way and end the right way for me to consider it like a great album. And I feel like this album definitely did just that. First song, Thug Love, came in with the crazy intro.
Yeah, it was a good intro. A Boogie is known for having good intros. I mean, No
He
Promises.
He is.
It's like the standard for him.
But see, I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, he's definitely kicks off albums great. So I expected that from him, and I listened to Thug Love, and I liked it. I haven't finished the whole project yet. I'm sure I'll get to it before the end of 2020. A Boogie. The thing about A Boogie with me is that he just has too many songs on his project. 20 songs.
I completely feel that.
And he's a great artist, and I want to give him, I will get through all those 20 songs. I can't say when.
No, I mean, that is probably the only drawback from the album that I have.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I just feel like these days you gotta keep albums 12 to 15.
Right.
It could even be a little shorter if it's with the artistic direction. But fire album, a lot of star-studded appearances. We have 2 tracks with Lil Uzi Vert. We have the Gunna feature, which I felt was appropriate because Gunna sounds amazing on guitar. We got Roddy Ricch.
That's
the way you were with.
Numbers. That's the tweet.
Out of there.
That was
my
favorite one that I heard so far.
Absolutely. And then we got the last track that I'm gonna shout out, the outro again, first and last track. So the outro.
Don't give it away. Don't give away too much because I still gotta listen to it.
You're right. Let me go ahead and keep that to myself. We're gonna throw that in the pocket.
Just let us know it's something good to look forward to.
Absolutely. Great to look forward to. A Boogie Artist 2.0.
One thing I will say, what A Boogie does well, his album covers are always fire.
Right.
And for me, that always catches my attention, especially in a day and age where I don't feel like artists are really putting enough attention into it, especially major artists. Independent artists, y'all are killing it, but major artists, not really. So I appreciate him for having that type of attention. You're saying with the instruments and all of that, he's an artist in every sense of the word.
In every sense of the word, artist.
Well, that's it for this week's notable releases. Check out those projects and let us know what you think.
If you know, you know. In other words, the Spotlight segment, we put you guys on to what we've been listening to.
Some fire dope artists that you need to be checking out.
That you might not be checked out yet, so let's get right into it.
Who you got?
For sure, Cousin Stiz.
Okay.
Stizzy man.
Rock with him.
I'm glad you do. I feel like if you rock with an artist like that, just makes me like, yeah. Chrissy likes that artist, for sure. Cousin Stiz, man, I've been on Cousin Stiz since 2016. However, he's been dropping music for a lot longer beforehand. First mixtape to hit the airwaves, Suffolk County in 2015.
Yeah.
Followed that up with Monda. Followed that one up with One Night Only, and then most recently his late 2019 release, Trying to Find My Next Thrill.
Yeah.
I think he's from Boston. I want to say Boston. Amazing artist, amazing rapper. Just went on tour with Freddie Gibbs as well. The thing that I like the most about Cousin Stiz is that he always keeps it real and he always talks about the grind.
Right.
Literally, the grind is one of his main topics. You know how other rappers love to talk about women and love to talk about ice
money,
and
whatever,
cars. He is always talking about the grind.
Yeah.
To a young hustler
He
like
is.
myself.
He's like your big cousin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always putting you on game. It doesn't matter how much of a hustler you are. Every now and then, you know what I'm saying, we get in our moods when we feel a little down. We feel like we can't accomplish. Yeah. And Cousin Stiz is always there to pick us back up.
Okay.
So that's really what I like about Stiz. Had to shout him out. Cousin Stiz.
All right. going to talk about an artist. I've been rocking with this artist for a while now. Representing the Carolinas, his name is Jalen Santoy.
Okay.
All right.
I've heard of him.
So, I was first introduced to him with his project, Charlie Eastern. Really dope project, super lyrical on that project. Very smooth production. And it just really, sonically, it just hit me. And then just listening to his bars, it was just a great balance. He's come back with his latest project. I think it's called Second Shepherd or Double Shepherd, one Shepherd.
Two Shepherd.
Yeah.
Something like
but
that. Y'all catch the drift though.
The project is fire. And it's like a good change of pace for him because he's still lyrical, but you could tell he's like experimenting with his flows. Like he does a little bit of the triple time flow. You know, he's working with different productions. Some of it is not as mellow, but has like great energy. And he's just, you could tell that he's really just in his bag right now. He's confident as an artist, and just, I can't wait to see what Jalen Santoy does. I know he's just scratching the surface, and I just feel like, and I've mentioned it before, just hip hop is at a place where it's like there's really something for everybody. But I feel like people are even more so now, they're appreciating a balance. Like they want that good production, but they also want music that they can relate to, or they can listen to and understand. So I feel like Jalen offers that, and this project is definitely worth checking out. He's an artist, definitely worth checking out. Y'all need to, I'm putting y'all on Jalen Santoy.
Jalen Santoy. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. This week's Hot Topics. I couldn't wait to come in here and talk to you about this because, all right, let me set some foundation.
Yeah.
All right, so recently, we celebrated the 5-year anniversary of Drake's most controversial, we can say that, right?
Absolutely.
His most controversial project. If you're reading this, it's too late. And while everybody was celebrating and posting their stories and remembering that time, which was a great time, one of the project's collaborators, Quinton Miller, his memories aren't so fond. So he took to social media and put out a couple of videos, basically saying how while everybody from that project is celebrating, all the fans and all the collaborators are celebrating what that time meant for them, it means something different for him because that is associated with, you know, the Drake and Meek Mill beef, which he was accused of ghostwriting Drake's verses, and it just set off a series of events for him that just aren't the most memorable for him. And I just was watching the video and I felt so bad because you would think that this would be a time in his life that he would want to remember the most. It was really his breakout project. It's probably the biggest artist he's worked with at that point. Probably still up until now, because it sounds like he's in a place where his career didn't take off the way he wanted it to because of all the controversy surrounding that project. And it's just so unfortunate, and I blame Meek Mill, of course.
I mean, we can all blame Meek for something.
Right.
Nah, but man, I will say, like, while I get where you're coming from, feeling bad for QM, because QM is Quinton Miller, by the way. I'm sorry.
Y'all boys.
Nah, we not boys. It's just like he has a whole project called QM.
Oh, okay,
go by, so you know.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. So okay, just to backtrack a little bit, I can empathize with him feeling like the only way that people check for him or refer to him musically is when it has something to do with this Meek Mill versus Drake beef, this ghostwriting allegations or whatever was proven, whatever wasn't proven. I get that. But man, at the same time, I feel like at what point does the artistry and the love for it all carry you through all the negative that happens, right? Like, I don't think that we can accurately say that through the span of his whole career, this situation will hold him back through the span of his whole career. Because to me, if that's the case, like, everybody goes through certain things in their lives that may set them, back a few steps, but there's getting through it.
I don't think that's a fair statement to make as far as, because first of all, based on that video, he definitely feels the way. He definitely has a bitter taste towards that project simply because of all of the stuff that came after it. But we don't know if he's in a place where he feels like his career or what he's able to do or progress, if that's like so completely like lost to him. I just feel like he's in a place where he's known for this particular moment in time as opposed to for the art that he's put out. I feel like he wasn't given a fair chance. And because he wasn't given a fair chance, in that video, he took an opportunity to let people know. And by people, not only the fans, but the people behind the scenes, record labels and all those people who have the power to help elevate his career, that he's still out here, he's still ready to work, he's still putting in work. And I don't blame him for taking that opportunity. Because honestly, you seem like you're a fan, but I don't think Quinton Miller is in the conversation of music today. And he should be after such a project, after working on a project like that, where he didn't even ghostwrite. He referenced the track, which, let me tell you something, fans, a lot of your favorite artists do that.
Yeah.
It was a reference track. He said, Party Next Door had a bunch of reference tracks on that project. And on many projects, it's just so annoying that happened. Like I said, I blame Meek again, because now him and Drake are back friends, and this guy is here trying to find a way to get his career to the level it should have been had he had a fair chance with that. I don't feel sorry for him. I just feel bad that he's in this position.
Yeah, I get that, and it's not that I don't feel bad, but it's just that I don't know, him making videos and telling people to give him a chance. While I agree with the hustler's mentality or that hustler spirit and getting your product out there, I don't know. I just feel like there comes a time where you stop asking and you start taking.
Have we seen him ask a bunch of times before this?
I mean, what does it matter if he asked a bunch of times or if he asked this time?
Because
he dropped a video and then deleted it.
Yeah, he deleted it because I'm pretty sure we know the social media area. It's like era. You can't say anything without anybody feeling away or whatever. But that's how he felt. Because I'm pretty sure he got dropped from his label. I'm pretty sure a lot of people just was like, nah, that's too much. We're not gonna deal with that. Yeah. Just not even giving him a fair chance. Honestly, and I saw Charlamagne say this on the Breakfast Club, and he was right. Meek Mill needs to make this right. He needs to I feel like either work with him, get him in the studio, something. He messed up this situation for this young man, and if he's this great reform guy that he says he is, I feel like he would help make this right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's while I think that would be nice.
It would, in an ideal world.
In an ideal world. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if, you got me worried about his old career now. So yeah. I think regardless of what was right or wrong in this situation, and regardless of what Quinton goes through, I think what's next? What are we doing? Okay, I mean, it sucks. Everybody's happy about it. If you're reading this, it's too late. I get it. Trust me, I do. You experienced the worst side of that. But what's next? And what's been next for him recently has been dropping a lot of music. So to me, if you worried about label help and they not helping you, at what point do you say, man, forget them labels and I'm gonna do what I have to do it myself?
He's doing that though. If he's still dropping, if it's been 5 years since that project and he's still dropping music, but it's not connecting. And I'm sorry, if you want your music to get to a certain level, not everybody's Chance the Rapper, or who can just. It takes a lot of money to be Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, no.
So of course. A lot of people need that machine. A lot of artists need that machine, and it sounds like that's what he feels like he needs. And he probably just had a moment of vulnerability. Can we give the man that? He's been through a lot. No disrespect, but the man lost a leg during one of the worst times of his life. This is just this is a lot.
True indeed.
He got Quinton Miller. We're here.
We are. Even if we feel differently about this.
Right. You need to make this right.
And I still mess with your music, Quinton. You know what I'm saying? I think the way that I view you is more about the music that you're putting out, and I hear the heart in it. You know what I'm saying? So, if the label's not rocking with you, bro, there's only so much that you can do. And I get he may need that machine, but not everybody gets it. And so if that's the case, what are you gonna do next?
He's still doing it, but we're divided on this.
Yeah, for sure.
But that it is what it is. That's still one of Drake's best projects. That's my favorite Drake's project. So I will forever appreciate Quinton Miller's contribution to that.
Yeah, man, much appreciated. That, especially that track.
Right.
What?
Wait, what track?
Through the 6 with
Oh.
my life.
That's not the one he was a part of, though.
Yes,
But-
it was.
Oh, yes, he was. Okay, yes, you're right.
I know this.
I run that back. But that's
I know
all we
everything
have for
about
this week's Hot Topics.
Hot Topics is over. So I talked a little bit about A Boogie's album for notable releases. For discussion and motion, I kind of want to dive a little deeper behind leaks because, well, some of you may know, but many of you may not know. That album actually leaked before, and A Boogie went ahead and created a bunch of new songs and threw it on the album.
Wow.
So leaks, right? Anybody who's been into music for the past 10 years, we could say?
Years, even longer than that. This is something that has been like in music for as long as music, especially pre-digital age.
For sure. Well, overall, yes.
Yeah.
Pre-digital leaks has been something that have existed since the pre-digital age. I think that more so in the digital age over the past maybe 10 to 15 years, I think it's been more of a thing that people are leaks are easily accessible nowadays. Do you feel like leaks are always a marketing tool these days with a lot of these rappers that are looking for clout? Or do you think that these things actually still happen by accident and still are something that artists don't want to happen?
So, honestly, like, in the streaming age, honestly, I remember in, 2012 when Watch the Throne came out? And prior to that, honestly, almost any project that came out, you can get leaked. And after that, too, any project, you can get the release. I think LimeWire was still around back then, maybe. But whatever, you could Google the site, you could Google the album, and get a leak. And that project, I remember, airtight. Kanye and Jay-Z made sure that nobody was able to get in advance. Like, they really handled that with such protection. And that made me, and after that, like, I felt like a lot of artists took suit and leaking decreased. So I didn't realize that now in the age where we have to like subscribe to Spotify or all those streaming platforms to get your music, that artists were still dealing with this, because I'm wondering like, where are they leaking this music to? Like, what, how are they getting it? Like,
so the crazy thing is, you mentioned Spotify. Spotify actually right now, as we speak, is one of those platforms that leaks exist on and live on the most.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
And a lot of times there's situations in which like normal people who are not artists somehow record a version or get some type of unfinished version of a song and then are putting it on these platforms basically as if it's their music. Right. But I think that a lot of the uploading, I don't want to say settings, but the things that go into uploading music on Spotify are not as airtight as they should be.
Okay.
And so I'm speaking of a specific example. Playboy Carti actually had a song that's supposed to be on his next album, A Whole Lot of Red, called Pissy Pamper.
Yeah.
Kid Cudi, that's another name for this song, that dropped, and it took social media by storm. I want to say it was maybe like a half a year ago or so. And the official song didn't even leak. It was an unofficial version of the song.
Wow.
That was being reposted constantly, put into memes. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's unofficial.
So that's the thing. Leaks can be used as a great marketing tool. What leaks suck? Unless it's an intentional, like the artist, sometimes they're struggling with their label doesn't want to put it out and they'll like leak it. There's a lot of that happening. But if it's done by somebody in your camp or somebody who just gets a hold of your music and they leak it, it sucks because it messes up your rollout, it messes up your budget, and it's just not fair. You put your heart into this project that you create, you don't really have control of how it's presented to the world. So that sucks. But it can be, even if that happens to you, you can leverage it as a great market tool, because once the fans get a hold of it, if it's fire, they create their own content off of that, or they create their own response to that. And the next thing you know, it's bigger than what your rollout could have imagined. So it sounds like with Playboy Carti, that was something that, he was able to capitalize off of. You just never know. That's the thing about it. There's an uncertainty with it that you can't really hedge your bets with that one as much as you can if you have more control over when the project releases. So that's the part of it that sucks. Remember that happened to Rihanna too with the Anti album. So now that like we're talking about it, I'm remembering like even in this era, like it still happened to a few artists, like you said, A Boogie, and I know that Lil Uzi was experiencing something like that.
Definitely, Uzi's situation is a little weird because there have been allegations that Uzi leaked his own music recently, and obviously that's partly due to his strange situation with DJ Drama and Don Cannon and Generation Now. So there was word going around that he was releasing his own or leaking his own singles around the time that he wasn't supposed to be releasing any music.
That like goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like sometimes you have issues where your relationship to the label is not what they need to be, and like they're not making your music a priority, or they're not putting your music out when you want. It's just not happening the way you want it, and they'll take it upon themselves. Uzi, like you said, he's allegedly doing that. Take it upon yourself, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna put this out myself, and we're gonna let the fans decide. And at that point, what can the label do? It's already out there. So unless they own your music, and they can shut all of that down, you don't have nothing to release at all. So.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's just hard to say in this era if it could help or if it could hurt, But it is something that artists definitely have to be aware of. Artist teams have to be aware of and make sure that they're preparing for it.
Most definitely. And certain artists, I would say more than others, if you have that sound that, is oftentimes leaked and spread to a lot of people, Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi, those types of artists, I definitely think they have to pay special attention to who they're putting in charge of their hard drive.
But at the end of the day, all publicity is good publicity, right?
Exactly. We've seen that in this industry often. So positives and negatives, leaks are leaks. It is what it is. You guys let us know what you think. Positives more so or negatives more so? Leaks.
Drop it. Let us know in the comments.
Please.
All right, so that's it for this week's episode of The Sum Up. We really want to hear from you. Did you think Changes was a great album? Am I wrong? Did you think A Boogie's album was great? Do you think Quinton Miller is ridiculous for going on social media and asking people to give him a chance? We want to know what you think. Hit us in the comments, right, Drew?
Please do. All of that. Please, yes. You thorough. That's what I'm talking about. And hold on, just to finish off, we got to talk. What do you think about leaks? Do you think they're positive or do you think they're negative?
All of that. We want to know about all of that. And just hit us in the comments, share, like, subscribe, all of that. Show us some love.
Definitely. See you guys next time.
Next time. As a thank you for just tuning in with us and showing us your support for Season 1, we have a little gift for you. We have the Sum Up Season 1 playlist, which will be available. Yes, sir. And all the songs we've suggested, all of the, if you know, all the artists that we've told you to check out, you can find them on this playlist. Right, Drew?
Absolutely. And again, it's just a little thanks for rocking with us for Season 1. We look forward to rocking with you guys for Season 2.
Definitely.
Looking forward to what we have to come.
Check out those artists, tell us what you think, and we'll be back.